Welcome back to the Coaches Show. I'm your host, Michael Watson, and sitting to the left of me is the head coach of the men's basketball team here at UIS, Coach Ben Wierzba. Coach, how you been doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
I know I discussed this earlier, but I was just going to have your thoughts over break and your team so far in this somewhat of the middle of the season so far.
Sure. Oh, we've had 5 conference games now under our belt. 2 road trips since Quincy, or 4 conference games since Quincy. Played at McKendree where the guys hung together and up and down. Game of runs by both teams, and guys just hung in there. We made one more play than they did to win the ball game, and then going on to Bellarmine, who's 4th in the country at the time we played them. A very, very skilled team, and we weren't ready to play right from the get-go, and you can't do that against a team like Bellarmine. And we had to give ourselves a chance to cut it to 10 with about 8 minutes to go in the game, and just they made more plays. We didn't execute like we should have, and we learned from it. And then this past week, we had a good week of practice. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were probably the best 3 days of practice we've put together in a row. And we had a good shoot around. We were focused Thursday morning, and we came out and executed like we wanted to against Southern Indiana. And guys just played hard. They did everything we asked. They stayed together and competed for 40 minutes, and that was a good team win. And then on Saturday against Kentucky Wesleyan, we started out a little sluggish. We came back, took the lead on them, and it was back and forth. And we even cut it down to 4 with about 12 minutes to go in the game, and just kind of we let up a little bit. And you can't, Kentucky Wesleyan at the time was 6th in the country, and we can't let up against teams like that. We were right there, but we're learning, and we've got to learn from these games and keep moving forward.
I talked to you before the show about broadcasting the Southern Indiana game, and I tell you what, that was an unbelievable game by your team. And Southern Indiana was ranked 10th. In the nation coming into that game, and I wouldn't mind getting your thoughts as a coach, seeing your team battle like that against a really tough Southern Indiana team.
So they were huge. I mean, they were big inside, and talking about 2 of the best big guys in the country, Division II wise, and we did a really good job of taking away DeWitt and Nelson, and made them take a lot of jump shots, and we did a really good job. For us, we did a good job, not a great job of blocking out, limiting their opportunities, and then we just executed. We offensively we kept cutting, and Kyle Gupton gets hot and gets 6 threes for you. That helps, and Dushko hits the 3 at the end. But it was a full team effort. It was all 9 guys that played and suited up. That they were out there the ones making the plays for us.
And one of those big men was Rutledge from Southern Indiana. Had a solid game,
right.
But defensively you guys showed up. And also you just mentioned Kyle Gupton's game, and I as an announcer announcing that game, he had a huge game. He had, I want to say, 26 points off the top of my head.
Yep.
Talk about Kyle's game, and also Dylan Sparkman's play down low against Rutledge and DeWitt as well.
Yeah, I think with Kyle, he'd been struggling the last couple of games shooting the ball, and his first 3 he banks in. So I don't know if that was just a tale of things to come, but he relaxed, and he can shoot the ball. But when guys run at him, he's really good at driving the ball with his right hand and floater, and guys were really good at finding him in transition and finding when he was open and screening for him. But then Dylan Sparkman inside, he may not have had the points or whatever, but he did a great job with Nelson and DeWitt inside, banging those guys in there and taking away things, and the rest of the team helping and digging in. But Dylan's starting to grow up, and that's what we need him to do to be a presence inside for us. He can be really good, and he just got to keep being physical and being aggressive in there.
When you're facing teams that are ranked top 10 in the nation, how important is practice as a head coach?
I think practice is important every week, but I think the players get a little bit more focused on that, that situation of getting to play against Bellarmine at 4th, Southern Indiana 10th, Kentucky Wesleyan 6th. I think there's a little bit more focus when it goes into those types of games, and that's what we're trying to get our guys to understand. That it doesn't matter who you're playing, you've got to have that same focus every day and preparation, and when you do that, great things happen.
You're currently 4-9, and you faced some really tough ball clubs so far in this season, and I wouldn't mind getting your thoughts of, what are some of the positives you've seen as a head coach, and maybe some of the negatives as well.
Well, I think the positive is just the guys staying together. They get along very well. They're a close-knit group in the locker room, on the court, in the dorms and townhouses. That they really get along, and I think that says a lot for a team. I think the team chemistry, when guys get along, that helps a lot. But we're starting to gel. We're starting to see things when the game plans get put together and we stay with it, like Southern Indiana, what happens. And then I think just overall we need to work on. We just got to take care of the ball better. I mean, 20 turnovers against Kentucky Western, we got to do a better job there, and we got to do a good job blocking out. We got to limit other teams' opportunities, and when we do those things, you know, I'm excited what this team can do.
Looking at your upcoming schedule, you're actually on the road this next 2 games, Drury and Missouri S&T. Drury is actually a really good ball club. Just you know, give us your thoughts on what you guys need to do to capture 2 wins this upcoming week.
Yeah, Drury is a team that's got everybody back from last year's team, and we were fortunate enough to split with them last year. But they've got a guard named Hall that's started for 4 years, that's been there, and he can just flat out shoot it. And so we've got to do a really good job of. He doesn't stop without the ball. He moves really well without the ball. So we've got to stay with him. We can't relax on him. And their point guard Lockhart's been there for 4 years too. Same thing. He's a kid that he runs the team, and he can make open shots and go by you. So we've got to really try to limit those 2 guys. And then the other guys, they've got another guard that comes off the bench that I think last year hit 6 or 7 threes against us. So these guys are going to be a little bit more perimeter oriented than what we faced. But we got to limit their shots, and we got to limit second opportunities and block out. So it'll be a tough road test. It's always tough to go on the road in the conference, but to go to Drury and then follow up and have to go to S&T, who'll be big, and they're going to execute very well. So we've got to have a good week of practice and stay focused.
You know, as a head coach going into a road trip like this upcoming weekend, what are some of the things you try to focus on as a head coach? You know, maybe having a team come together as one.
I think when you go on the road, it's you know the 9 players and 3 coach and trainers. It's our small group. They're staying together. You got to stay together, and you got to come closer on the road. You don't have the fan support that you do at home. It's everybody against you almost. And so you got to stay together, and you got to communicate a little bit more. You got to stay a little bit more focused, and we got to prepare a little bit better. And so that's what we're really stressing this week: communication and preparation, and just the close-knit, staying close and staying focused.
You know, besides your starting 5, how important is the bench players coming off the bench on road games like this upcoming weekend?
I think it's big. I think road games, home games, your bench is very important. You look at, you know, Dushko, Despot has 13 at McKendree and hits a big 3 with about 3 minutes to go there to put us up 8, and he hits a big 3 against Southern Indiana. But it's everybody. Reagan Bruner come off the bench. He had a big game for us against Southern Indiana, and Chase Brinkley, he came off the bench, had 4 assists, no turnovers. And so it's a lot of guys just stepping up, making plays. And when it's your time to be called, you've got to be ready to execute and be prepared.
Going back to the Southern Indiana game, what was your overall reaction and thought when you saw Dushko in the corner wide open and putting up that 3?
Well, that's why we put him in the game. I mean, he's a kid that can make shots, and what we ran in, it kind of broke down. So Cantrell came off a ball screen. He penetrated into the paint. Guys sucked in on him, and Dushko popped right to the wing, and Cantrell stopped, made a good pass right to him on the money, and it was good. I mean, Dushko can shoot the ball. When he shoots that ball, you think it's going in, and he had his feet set and went right to the middle. And so that was the reason he was on the court, because we know he can make some shots. He's got to shoot it with confidence in those situations, and he did.
I know you kind of elaborated on it earlier, but you know, what are some of the keys for victory here on the road against a really tough Drury and S&T team? Yeah,
well, Drury is their perimeter. Like I said, they're more perimeter oriented. So we're going to have to establish an inside presence. Dylan Sparkman's going to, on the offensive end, is going to have to be aggressive, get him some touches. Teams are going to start to focus more on the perimeter with KG and Reagan and some of those guys. So we got to really establish inside and offensively. Defensively, we got to limit Hall, limit Lockhart's touches. They're going to score their points, but you just got to limit the amount they can score. But we can't turn the ball over. We've got to stay focused on defense, stay with the game plan. We got to block out and limit their opportunities. And then S&T is going to be the same thing. It's that one-day preparation going from Thursday to Saturday. There's not much time to prepare, so it's coming in on Friday being focused, and we won't do much, but it's getting those guys mentally and physically rested and ready to go on Saturday.
Well, Coach, I just want to thank you very much for coming in and giving us a few of your minutes on a really busy Monday, and best of luck this weekend on the road.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
For more information on the UIS men's basketball team, you can always check out the UIS athletic homepage at uisprairiestars.com. I'm Michael Watson, your host. Until next time, I'll see you later.